We are live.
Ooh.
I clicked go live. If it's not working,
We
blame
are
Dan.
live and alive. Live and alive. We didn't have a problem with it last week, though, so we might not need to, do that.
I remember having a problem as long as you guys are here, and it's all.
Oh, I was like, why am I hearing double audio? Because I forgot to mute the stream.
All right.
I was like, what the?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 163 of the Hylian Gamescast. It is I, Jesse, or 𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. We have Daniel here, 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 himself.
Hello.
And we are very lucky to have the one and only Geek Apprentice.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe this is happening. I don't know if you can tell. I'm in shock right now. I'm so
Me
happy.
too. I've disappeared for like a month because of recital.
I'm being a bit.
I'm still not sure what day of the week it is.
Neither can I. It feels so surreal. I'm trying to be a bit conservative here. Like you would see me bouncing all over if it were not for these padded rooms and Daniel. Anyways, Daniel.
I don't believe that. I don't think I've ever.
You don't believe these are padded rooms?
Get that excited.
No, I don't.
Not believe you get that excited.
You only throw shoes at me. Why would I be excited for you?
Throw bananas.
Bananas. That's what I bought. Bananas today.
I've heard of
12
bananas
from the store. Have you seen bananas? Though?
No, you don't allow me that pleasure.
Do you know the song
no.
Banana Phone?
I do not. Have you heard the song "It's Raining Tacos"?
From
I've
out
heard
of the
it's
sky.
raining
Yes!
men.
Tacos.
I've heard the echoes of that song coming from down the hallway through the giant steel door Daniel has between the outside world. But anyways,
That's right.
my mic keeps cutting in and out. Daniel,
Not for me.
while you're on Discord, silly Willy, why don't you go ahead and we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct, as you put it here. So let us know, what is a Nintendo Direct? When can we expect it to happen? It's been at least 50 billion years since it has been February when we had the last one. So what's going on here?
Well, look, I don't want to put a bunch of stock into things to like baseless rumors, but there was a supposed leak that a lot of people have been bringing to my attention. Supposedly, according to this leak, it's going to be the 15th. But that leak is really dubious.
The 15th of what?
It was of this month, like next week. I'm talking next week.
Next Wednesday, apparently.
Next week.
But the leak is
They're saying
really
it wasn't
dubious.
June
Like
8th?
it's no, that would be yesterday. That would be yesterday. I actually was thinking that the next week is a pretty safe bet anyways. So the leak could be like someone being, just trying to be right, because they're like, well, this is a really safe bet. I'll just say it's next week, and then when it happens, I'll be like, see, I know things.
I'll say it's around the
Yeah.
same time as all the other.
They'll have notoriety somehow now.
I'll have the same time as everyone else's presentation.
Right. The thing is with this leak, and I don't want to get too into like how it came about, but the gist of it is that supposedly content creator got some early information from a game developer that he wasn't supposed to share, and then he shared it even though he wasn't supposed to, and he was like, wow, they didn't make me sign an NDA, so I'm gonna do it, even though like you're just all you're doing is burning your bridge with this company. Like you're just destroying your relationship with this company is all you're doing. But supposedly that's the gist of this leak. But it's a bit dubious if you ask me, because like developers, like indie developers especially, only know so much about what's going on in directs and stuff like that. And also, like, I don't know of any creators that would want to sabotage their potential to get like early access to stuff by doing that. You know what I mean?
May I introduce you to Jesse?
To Jesse?
No, I tried. Last year we had tons of people. A lot of people ended up being correct. A lot of people didn't. But I tried my best to message you. Hey, what do you think about this? And you're like, that sounds ridiculous. stupid, and I'll be like, okay, we won't talk about it. But when we all agreed to talk on it, it usually ended up being pretty correct. And whoever it was that may have been from that marketing team, maybe it wasn't a marketing team. But I don't know. They seem to be correct.
The direct leak seems really like one that's like, it was like an email basically, and it's like one of those things that's like super easy to fake. So it seems really baseless to me. So, but that's the rumor.
I will say the email that I had from, I think everyone knows it. I don't even know why I'm trying to be, but you remember
a year ago.
The pamphlet? Yes, this was a year ago. The pamphlet that Nintendo and Amazon sent.
Yeah.
You remember the word they used for theory? It was like an
philosopher.
Yes, it was like, we want to gather all these Zelda philosophers. And I'm like,
this sounds so much more fancy than we are.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like if anything sounds fake, it's the official ones, because they're like, we want you to philosophize about this thing. And we're going to be going to Atlanta to film this on the Disney set. And I'm like, yeah, right. But I guess they ended up doing it, so who knows?
They did.
Philosophizer.
Misclick won that contest by using my theory. True story. They had like a little debate thing that was like whoever, like they had to vote on like whoever Zelda theory was the best one. And she literally cited my Dragon Break theory.
See, and it breaks my heart. So it must break your heart as well, because my heart was broken when they were like, we want to get you, and I'm going to ruin any chances I have of Amazon or Nintendo ever emailing me again, but we want to get you, and who was it? Peanut Butter Gamer and 𝗵𝗃? No. No.
I think that was on the list of people that I don't remember now. It's been like a year, right?
It was like 4 or 5 people, and it was all...
None of them ended up being the ones that actually went.
Yeah,
I do remember that much.
I was like, I didn't believe it at first, and I should have just never believed it, because then I wouldn't have been broken. Like every time Amazon Prime, you need to renew your Amazon Prime membership, and I'm like, but should I? They broke my heart. I wouldn't buy flowers for an ex.
Well, on this topic about the direct, though, the leak says the 15th. Which is dubious, but legit talk. But just between us friends, and also everyone watching this in the chat.
I don't know. No one's watching.
I legitimately do think that there is going to be one next week. But what do you guys think about that? The like likelihood of that?
Geek, you go first.
I mean, I hope there's one next week. It's usually around the early teens of June that they have a direct, because it's always centered around E3, so I don't see, I know we've kind of discussed it previously, I don't see any reason why they would just be like, oh, no E3, no direct. They don't need E3. We've talked about that before. I want it to be next week. I don't see why it wouldn't be next week, but I could also see them being like, you know what, let's put it off maybe a week or two to make sure we really flesh out what we want to have appear there, because they're not beholden to an E3 schedule. So I could see it be put off a little later. I just don't want it to be. Also, we had a super chat by I can't pronounce that, something Vargas donated $5. He said, yes, you light a candle when your room is back in there. LOL. Smiley face. But maybe he likes the dark, you know? Some people like the dark.
He's a vampire.
Just like I like being alone, and people don't understand that. But yes, thank you for the super chat.
Is it Janiel, as in like Jesse plus Daniel? Like we combined?
That's what I was wondering. But I was like, is there a chance it's pronounced with an H sound?
Oh, that's a good point.
But Janiel sounds more legitimate than Haniel.
Yes, it does.
You know, yes, it was different when it was like Javier. It's like, okay, well, that one I can figure out. That was Spanish.
Yeah.
You know?
But maybe
so I apologize for how we're pronouncing your name or mispronouncing.
Yeah. If we're pronouncing it wrong, we're just keep in mind we're white. That's all I got.
Just let us know.
Just please correct us. Don't feel bad about correcting us. I remember there's a follower of mine that I apparently had been pronouncing his name wrong for like a year before he corrected me, and I was like, And he was like, I was just embarrassed about it. I was like, no, I'm embarrassed. I was the one saying it wrong.
Let me know.
Like, tell me.
I'm always asking people that show up on my streams, hey, am I pronouncing that right? The one I'm most proud of is he's from Sweden, I think. Pronounced it right on the first try, Sweden. And he was like, you even got like the accent correct. I was like, I did? It's because Swedish is similar to German, and I understand German phonetics. So, yay.
I'm jealous of you understanding German. Does it still look like I'm in a dark cave?
Not
it
as
looks
much.
a little better, actually.
Don't tell
it
Daniel, but I stole an extra light bulb from his garage.
Oh no. Maybe we need to get Jesse a nice ring light. You know.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the lights atop and behind you. I got, let's see, I think one of mine, they're both cheap. My small one is from a store called Five Below. Everything's under $5.
Mm-hmm.
$5 or less. And then the other one I got from Amazon. No, we have a dollar store. We have a dollar stores. Everything's like $1.07 because taxes, but still. But yeah, and then this other ring light that's a little bit bigger is from Amazon for like $35.
Okay, continue.
There you go.
I apologize for interrupting. I know everyone was listening.
Oh no, it's all good. But yeah, I hope it's next week. I could see it being a little bit later. If it's next week, it's not because of the rumor that was leaked.
Right. That's what
I don't think it's because of that.
My line of thinking too. Is like the rumor seems like they're just saying it's that day. Like they faked it and they're just saying it's that day because that's like a really safe bet, anyways. And then they can pretend they have insider knowledge. you know? Yeah.
Was there Destiny 2 stuff today? Unrelated?
Was there? I don't know, actually, if there was. I have a list of recap of everything that was announced. I don't see Destiny on the list there, but I'll just bring up as well, Natsu in the chat basically debunks the rumor anyways. Bringing up the email leak was poorly done. If you just up the resolution, you can see through the black where they like blacked out certain parts. The game that they were saying they had insider knowledge on was called Neon White, which was actually shown today, not on the 15th. So that kind of debunks the rumor anyways, which is fine. We were all saying, we went into this saying like, we're pretty sure this is a fake rumor anyway. So
yeah.
There you go. Wasn't even part of the direct. Although, I mean, it could still be shown in a Nintendo Direct.
Was it a third-party game?
Right.
I think so, yeah. Neon White.
Yeah, because otherwise it would have been. And you said he got it from a marketing team?
It was like an embargo email, like one of those like emails that's like, okay, here's your stuff, whatever. This is the date of the embargo.
I get those all the time, and I send them to you, and I'm like, does anyone want this donut game?
The problem is
that's an inside joke. I send it to Brie. I didn't send it.
But I remember there have been like you sent me one game like years ago. I remember just like not enjoying it and just thinking like I'm not gonna review this game or do a video on it because like
remember I feel so bad.
You don't have anything nice to say.
Right.
Don't say anything at all.
They sent me like 7 shirts, a bunch of posters. Like they sent me like they just like put in like $200 worth of stuff for this. Almost like when not an Pokemon Company, which is big. They sent you all of that Pokemon stuff that one Christmas. Yeah,
that was great.
It was basically like one of those 2 or 3 boxes they sent you. They're just like one of those, but it was for this game that was like, it wasn't even Bird Game or Skatebird. Like, it wasn't even that. I want to say, what do you mean? Because they sent like all this stuff, and I was like, I guess I could shirts to my brother.
There you go.
But it was so nice.
Right on. So Jesse, since you disappeared for a moment, tell us your thoughts about it.
My thoughts is
if and when they happen, or are going to.
You can kind of get hints from these games. They send you an embargo of, and they're like, "Hey, this game." Okay, I was looking at the chat real quick. Bree, who I sent the thing for the game, she hasn't mentioned. I was seeing if she did. There's this donut game, and this is just an example. I'm probably gonna get old, but so there's this donut game, and they're like, "Hey, the embargo's up on this date. We're gonna it's gonna be publicly revealed on this whatever blah blah." So you can kind of look at that and it's like, okay, well, if this, like, everyone's assuming this event's coming up and the game's supposed to be on this platform and it's going to be announced publicly on the day and then demo or whatever, then you can kind of like average it all in and look at well, they'll probably announce it during this or this thing. So I kind of get where that person was coming from, but at the same time, that's how you don't get things sent to you in the future. Unless it was a fake account or a second account or something. And there has been a lot of stuff that I have sent to you, but I assume that's because most people are, like, whenever I sent you the Amazon Nintendo stuff, I assume most people think, well, there's for people podcast, so if we send it, then we should automatically assume that everyone will anyways. So that's what the notion that I go by. So when people send this stuff, I can see how it gets out to leak, because like I've mentioned, I've talked to Stealth and people from IGN and people from other places that have done stuff for Nintendo and other companies. Whenever I'm like, I think this is real, whatever, blah blah blah. But Daniel is always like the first one that the hard pass. Like, is this what do you think about that? Like, yes, no, you're stupid. Either way, I'm just like, okay, 100% Daniel. And that was the thing that went on last year, which I learned not to do so much, because this year has been kind of bland with. Maybe this person's gonna have the same thing happen, and even if you hadn't absolutely nothing sent to you, I think you could just assume, well, placed last week, things scheduled for next week. The replacement for E3 is happening this week, and if we look at Wikipedia, we can see every time the Nintendo's had a Direct in June, it's been on these days, so we can assume it's probably going to be on one of those days as well, and they also go last after everyone else, so we can just assume it's going to be in the middle of June. I think that's basically the common sense that this person may have off of. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Couldn't have said it better. That's legit.
I'm also going to say the idiots who make YouTube bots should not be doing that.
Right. They should not.
They were on Daniel's stream yesterday.
Oh my gosh, they were so
It was like every 20 minutes, less than.
Yeah. It was actually unreal. It was like,
yeah, like, I don't know what naked letters are, but I already know my alphabet every time I eat Campbell's alphabet soup. So
there you go.
I don't need to see your alphabet.
God. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I mean, I think next week is a pretty safe bet for a Direct, though. I've been saying the 14th. That feels.
Oh, Tyler also gave a $5 super chat.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
We do have a super chat.
Tyler, $4.99. Love the podcast. Here's hoping for a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer plus name reveal next week. We've been calling Breath of the Wild 2 for 3 years now. Wow, yeah, that's true. Hey, here's hoping. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I am really feeling optimistic, cautiously optimistic, about a Direct this week. And I think Breath of the Wild 2, I'm hoping at least that it's going to be showing there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying Tuesday, the 14th, just because previous years for E3, that's what they've done. It's always like that Tuesday, which is like the morning before like everything kicks off for E3. And they're in those scenarios, they're like the last ones to have their showcase, right? Xbox and PlayStation does theirs way before, and then Nintendo does it like they're the last ones. So it just, yeah, it feels right. I don't have insider knowledge. I'm just saying that based on what Nintendo has done in previous years. So but yeah, I mean, they're not like you said, Geek, they're not tied to like E3. They don't need it anyways. So they could just put it off and do it whenever. It could be later this month. Could be tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm just sad because I initially hoped that it would be like yesterday or today because I'm off work. But odds are it will be like next Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll be working literally all day, both days. So I'm like, I'm going to have to watch it at like 8 p.m. at night or 10 at night, depending on which day. So I'm like, I have to avoid social media the whole day. Also, I will be right back. I drank a ton of tea.
We all did. Don't worry.
Oh, yes.
I
so
do,
much.
But no worries. You're good. You're good. Also, Natsu saying the lowest common denominator about the bots showing up is me, apparently. Because they were on my stream, and then I was in Nate's Nintendo Prime stream earlier today. I was just hanging out. And they showed up there too. And,
we got more. Let's get rid of them.
Now they're here now, showing up as I'm speaking about it. I'm dealing with it. Don't worry. I got it. So yeah, apparently the bots they're after me.
I have a lot of those words they're using locked on the channel, but apparently that doesn't work if it's your name.
If it's in the username, and then the messages are just emojis, right? So
yeah, and it's
that's
like,
how they slip by.
People are here because they care about Nintendo and Zelda, mostly Zelda, but the common denominator being Nintendo.
Legit.
And yeah, it's like if it didn't work the first time, it's not going to work the fourth time, 400th.
Yeah, it's just an inconvenience for more than anything.
Yeah,
so people really people don't fall for those. Like, come on.
Give us Daniel. I don't think we've ever like, as weird as it is, this being a Zelda primary channel, Zelda primary podcast, I don't think you've ever been asked this question. So Daniel.
So Jesse.
What do you actually 100% believe? If you could sum together everything you don't know, that you don't know, and everything that you do know about Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, what would you make a guess the name would be on? Or the name would be on the title?
I do not know. I do not know. The thing is that like Zelda titles don't go for like the stereotypical, like people have been throwing them on like Revenge of Ganon or Return of Ganondorf, things like that. The Zelda titles don't like follow those are very like Hollywood trendy titles. That's not how Zelda titles their games. And if you think about it, like even Breath of the Wild was like a big shift from how they usually title things as well. So like I honestly,
are you telling me that the second Nintendo DS game wasn't titled The Legend of Zelda Spirit of the Tracks?
That's correct.
Like Breath of the Wild.
Spirit of the Tracks. But even still, like I don't know, like they really
Revenge.
Like, I don't think there are any Zelda titles where like I would know things about the game and I'd be able to just like guess what the title is, aside from ones that are like about
because
maybe
being clear,
Majora's Mask,
don't
because
know
like
anything
that's
about
that's also true. Like Majora's Mask, like if you know anything about the game, it's like okay, that's a logical title for that game, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Like,
asking
Minish
you now,
Cap makes sense. You know,
I hope to end all these obsessive emails that email address that you don't know anything about Breath of the Wild 2.
Other than that, there's the dehydrated Ganondorf and that we're going to the sky. Also, Vernon, I got that joke. I hate to say it, but I got that joke. It's not normally a joke I would get, but I did. No, I don't know anything extra about Breath of the Wild 2. Other than I'm tired of calling it Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. And Daniel, you were on the podcast with me a couple of where someone who was in the original Breath was on.
Right.
And all we were told was that he was doing something for Disney, which you can go to now at Disney World, Disneyland, and see him doing the voice of a turtle.
This is true.
Yeah.
He's Crush
Very
the
famous turtle.
Yeah.
I love Crush.
And a transformer.
Also true. Funny story about that is that I don't know if you guys have seen that meme. There's like a video that's going around where like someone was at that attraction at Disneyland and they made a joke about like having like turtle stew or eating turtles, something like that. And that kind of went viral. I even sent that to Kayla and I was like, it's even funnier knowing that that's Joe voicing the turtle, right? Because he reacts I think pretty appropriately, like, you know, being like, whoa, no, that's not cool, dude, you know. Anyway, so that went viral, and Joe, I asked before the actual podcast started, we were just chatting beforehand. I asked Joe about that, and he was like, "Yeah, that video is the bane of our existence because now everybody's been trying to reenact it. So every day someone comes in and makes that same joke or makes that same question, and it's just so annoying." I'm like, "Damn!" Like,
and
dang, like.
When you're good at improv, you want variety, not the same thing over and over again.
Not the same thing over and over.
We did receive a little bit of insider Zelda information, which I think we can tell. Daniel, I sent you last week's tier list because we skipped it with Joe, but it was originally created for the week he was on. So what was his favorite Goron?
Oh, he said Darunia from Ocarina of Time,
which we already had at S tier, so it does not change at all. It just more confirms that we were correct.
Very correct. But I mean, my point was like in all that conversation, the only quote unquote insider knowledge that we gained from that was that Joe really doesn't like when people ask Crush the Turtle about eating turtle stew.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Grim in the chat says Nintendo Direct rumored to June 15th. Do you want to speak about this, Dan?
We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that. Rumors fake. Rumors are fake. That doesn't mean the Direct won't happen on June 15th, but if it does, it's not because of that rumor.
Matt says, I don't know what film you're talking about.
That was literally one of the safest bets they could have made.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it'll be even more funny if it turns out to not be June 15th.
I'm still banking on the 14th, actually. But we'll see. We'll see. Someone else said, because we were having a long chat about it in one of my streams the other night, and someone was, or not the other night, on
Daniel,
Wednesday.
I think we may have to switch to your...
oh, are we cutting out?
Yeah, I was just seeing it pop up saying that something. So I don't know if it's true or not. Can everyone hear us fine? See us fine? How's it going, everyone?
It still says it's okay.
Does it look good for you?
Yeah.
Okay. We can continue. What was I guess the next thing that we were going to talk about?
Just hang on one sec, actually.
Yes, sir. Geek, hi, how are you?
I'm good. Still recovering from recital, but good.
How does it feel knowing that Kirby and a ton of other Pokemon are just always staring at you when
It's fine. I also have a bunch of Funko Pops.
Sorry about that. My son wanted a Wii nunchuck.
I mean, don't we all?
So,
fair enough.
Anyways,
don't we all?
Anyway, stream still looks good as far as I can see. So
yeah, we were just talking about Kirby and
other Pokemon
because they're all staring at.
Those are all
when she's on her. Oh, you got a Jiggy.
I do.
I myself don't listen to Will Smith music. I appreciate it.
That took me longer than it should have.
Daniel.
The other topic that I had planned was that Summer Game Fest is currently going on and it exists. And if we have any thoughts about it. And I'll tell you, my thoughts right away are nothing has really appealed to me so far.
What all
I
happened
forgot
today?
it existed until you brought it up in my stream today. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You're like commending me for not streaming the Summer Game Fest. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
The way
I knew you.
The way I thought about it was like, so it's the same. I assume it's the same company under a different LLC doing the Game Awards because Jeff Keighley. And that's like Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, all the third parties coming together to do one night at the. Where this is the same thing but spread over as like a mini E3, so it's like taking up an entire week instead of just a few days. So I was like, okay, well, if we know what happens during the Game Awards, which is half the awards, and then the other half is like weird trailers for like weird Vin Diesel games, then if we take like the new announcements, or just the announcements in general that we got, and spread it out over an entire week or so, then it's probably not going to be that much. So
yeah, that's the
like,
thing. Well, actually, The Rock showed
a great thing for third parties, though, because any time that third parties get a big platform, I always cheer for them. I assume that's why PlayStation was like, we'll just do ours like a week early.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Keighley tends to, like, events that he hosts, it feels like he drags them out. And this does feel a lot like the Game Awards, because
if you're getting like, $10,000 per commercial, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, the Game Awards felt to me like the awards part really didn't matter, which was what was disappointing about it. You know, I want to see the awards. I want to see these developers be appreciated, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This just feels like more of that. More of the Game Awards minus the awards.
We don't need more of the Game Awards.
I was about to say I'll be back in a second, but I wanted to mention the Game Awards. The best Game Awards speech, which I still go to every now and then and listen to, was when can you guys, is it blocked? No, you guys can see it. Game Over Jesse right here.
Your Game Over Jesse.
Yes, but
you
like,
are.
is it over here or is it like reversed on my...
What?
Anyways, Game Over Jesse came from Game Over Greggy. It has my title like right here. Yeah. Like a little...
Oh.
I can't do it.
I'm looking at Discord.
My camera's reversed. So like I'm doing this over here, but it might be over there. Game Over Greggy, he won the very first, like he won against like PewDiePie and Markiplier and everyone. The whatever, the most popular gamer, whatever, of the year. And the speech he gave wasn't saying like thank you to whoever. It was like giving thanks to like I guess the speech he gave was like the night before he won. He was playing some random game, and after he beat the game, everyone always credits and he was like looking through the credits just to see worked on the game, and he was like, he named off a bunch of people, like someone who spent like a year working on a single tree or just trees in a certain area, and he was like, thank you to this person and this person and this person. No one recognized, but without that person, the game wouldn't even.
Right. Oh, that's legit.
And it was like the best speech from Ubisoft, Nintendo, PlayStation, everyone who's ever given a speech. Even though I'm a bit biased, I never heard from anyone, and I still listen to it every now and then. I think more people should do that, because they always come out and be like, thank you to the producer, the director, whoever, the fans, and then they go on their way. But he like gave like a really, really long speech named off people that no one would ever consider. Because like when you're playing The Legend of Zelda, you don't think about like, well, who's the person who put like the individual apples on? Who
Right.
decided the Yiga were addicted to bananas?
Yeah, who decided that? Because
Yeah.
they need an award, a game award.
Yeah, but that's that's what I wanted to mention because I watched it again the other
Yeah.
about the Game Awards, and that was like the best thing about the Game Awards I ever seen, and it hasn't happened like literally, even though that was like one of the first ones. No one's ever done it since.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
But
Okay, you go.
yeah, I'm just like not really feeling it with Summer Game Fest. The only things that have been announced, PlayStation announced Resident Evil 4 remake, which looks cool, but I mean the original game is still solid, honestly. The Last of Us is getting a remake that announced that today. I don't know why. That game is not that old, and the side by side between the original and the new version is like, I'm like, it looks better, sure, but like, is it better enough to like warrant a remake? I don't know. It's weird, right? Like but like nothing's jumping out at me. I'm just feeling, I don't know, underwhelmed, I guess. I'm not angry. Like there are people who are angry. They're like, this sucks and I hate Jeff Keighley. He insulted me personally. It's not like that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like almost like maybe companies shouldn't just go into a show like this because it happens every year. Well, like if they have nothing good to announce, maybe just don't have a presentation. I don't know. Is that harsh of me? It's I don't know. It just feels very I don't know. Maybe I'm biased again. Like obviously we're Nintendo fans, but like I have a PlayStation. I play other games too. I don't, I do watch these to like see, what's up, what's happening. Because I call myself a Nintendo fan, but I'm not like I've always been of the rule of like I want to buy a console for the games. Nintendo happens to be the ones that make the games I like.
Yeah.
Because their in-house developers are awesome. But like I really wanted to play Spider-Man. So I got a PS4 to play Spider-Man and Red Dead and a handful of other games and that Star Wars game Fallen Order that I really like. But then I'm like, I don't know. There's just like a lot of samey shooty bang bang FPS games and a lot of stuff that I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Yeah. So yeah, Joseph has a point here in the chat about remaking previous generation games. Obviously, Switch has a lot of Wii U games that were re-released there, but like The Last of Us as an example, the reveal that they did today, they like had a big push about like we're not a remastering it, we remade it from the ground up. That they literally said from the ground up, and they were like putting this huge emphasis on like this is a huge upgrade and huge remake, and it's like, but like it's not. And the thing is, like you say in the chat here, the Wii U underperformed, and so like putting them on Switch, they're not really remastering them all that much. They're just giving them a second life. Whereas The Last of Us already got a remaster, and now it's getting a full remake, and it seems so unnecessary. And that's like the only thing that's even standing out to me as like noteworthy.
It's something that doesn't even need to happen.
The Last of Us is getting not even a remaster. It's a full from the ground remake.
Well, that makes sense.
And that just, why does that make sense? It doesn't make sense.
Because okay, hold on. Everyone said that they're having issues with my audio, not your guys's. So I imagine it's not my internet. I imagine it's something stupid. So let me.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Hello? I hope
Hello.
everyone. I know you guys can hear me the exact same because I didn't do anything to your guys' stuff. It's just the filter for the compressor and limiter and everything and the background noise for this. So maybe I need to turn it up. I don't know. Maybe I just need to get closer and then just talk a little bit quieter like I do on my normal videos. But so Naughty Dog, which is the developer of like Crash Bandicoot and other stuff, but they also did The Last of Us and Uncharted, which you mentioned on your stream because not new Spider-Man. Tom Holland was doing Uncharted, and you mentioned like I don't even know what new movie Sony did. I don't even know what you mentioned for people to bring it up, but I was like, well, it's Uncharted and Tom Holland, blah blah blah. Because I'm addicted to Spider-Man because it's like my drug of choice is Spider-Man.
Awesome. Yeah, Spider-Man's great.
Yeah, like I'm sure Geek's drug of choice is just tea.
Well, there's that. Like, Geek likes you like MCU as well, so I mean,
I like what?
Like Marvel, like the MCU and stuff.
Yes, all the way through Endgame, and then I gave up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just had zero interest. I was like, this is a good place to end. Okay, we're done.
That's because
I mean, that's like pretty natural closing point for the MCU, it feels like.
I did watch the last one in that phase though, which was Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
And it was good, but I was just like, I don't want to start a new phase. Like I'm
to say what it was, but there was a thing that happened where they were like if you watch, so there was supposed to be a weird trilogy. This is completely unrelated, but I'm still going to say it. There was a weird trilogy they had where it was like supposed to be like WandaVision, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and the third Spider-Man movie, Far From Home.
No Way Home.
The way it came out.
No Way.
Yeah, the way it officially came out was WandaVision, Spider-Man,
then
Doctor Strange. The way it was supposed to happen was like it was all supposed to lead up to Spider-Man. Or no, it was supposed to be like Doctor Strange, WandaVision, and then Spider-Man. Like the stuff that happened in Multiverse of Madness was supposed to lead to the extra Spider-Man coming into the Spider-Man movie, which would have made sense because it's like, okay, well, they opened up all these universes and then people from the other universes come into Spider-Man. And like, that's the way they had planned it out. But because of things happening, they were like, well, we have to rewrite all of these different TV shows we already had planned and recorded half of, and then had to go on like a 6-month hiatus and then start filming again. And in that time, they were like, well, maybe we should record it in this way or release it in this way. And that's why this, like, people that watched Moon Knight was like, what is even the point of this? Like, this doesn't connect to anything. This doesn't lead to anything. What is even the point? Why couldn't this just been a 2-hour movie instead of an 8-hour episode series? But I still haven't watched. That's completely different than what we're talking about, because we're talking about Zelda, because this is a Zelda podcast, and someone messaged me and Daniel the other day on Twitter and was like, hey, I was watching your podcast, but why do you guys never talk about Zelda? And we're like, well, we talk about Zelda in every episode.
About Zelda so much. But also, this kind of goes to show you how engaging Summer Game Fest has been, that we're started just talking about Marvel movies.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, what were we talking about?
We're just talking about Summer Game Fest, Jesse.
No.
Like
the specifics
of it was the Last of Us remake.
So
how it's
The Last of Us released, and then like 3-4 months later, they were like, hey, here's the PlayStation 4, even though this was like the best looking game we had on PlayStation 3. But they used completely different assets and models for the pre-rendered. As far as I know, please. I know like one person, maybe two, that works at Naughty Dog still, or for Sony. Don't get mad at me. I know 1 or 2 people that work for Naughty Dog. Pre-rendered cutscenes. So they used higher resolution models, probably with this in mind. Again, I hope no one gets mad at me. They used higher resolution, higher polygon models for the remastered version of The Last of Us for the cutscenes. So like the normal game was in 720p or whatever it was. And the cutscenes were in full 1080p because they were like, well, we can just re-render these or whatever and just play them as normal cutscenes instead of having the PlayStation 3 render them. And they did... Uncharted 4 was technically the first game they did for PlayStation 4. I was also working at GameStop, and we had people from PlayStation who came out to GameStop, but I don't think I'll get in trouble for this because this would just get GameStop in trouble. But they came out and... Don't smirk, Daniel.
Go on, please. Finish your thought, Jesse. Come on, you can do it.
I live in New York, for anyone who's interested. So visit the GameStops in New York and ask questions. People came out to GameStop from PlayStation because I was working there when we were selling PlayStation 4s, and they were talking about a bunch of stuff about PlayStation 4, and they were like, yeah, this. And it lined up with a few months later some stuff that I found out from normal PlayStation people that I was not friends with, that the reason they made The Last of Us Remastered Edition so fast was because they kind of planned ahead of time. To where they were like,
okay,
we can take like some extra time to work on these models that are higher resolution, these assets that are higher resolution ahead of time, even though it won't run on the PlayStation 3. We can spend time working on it for the trailer. Daniel knows. For the trailer.
Do I?
And then when the PlayStation 4 releases, we can spend the time removing the models we made for the PlayStation 3, put the models in that we made for the PlayStation 4, and just basically replace them, most of the assets, and then we can just like upgrade the rest in those months between the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 release, and then we can have the remastered edition. And if it weren't for the cutscenes, like the extra models they made in the cutscenes for the remastered edition, then they said like it wouldn't have made sense to actually work on the remastered edition, because the only reason they did was basically because they already had those models in place for the in-game models for the PlayStation 3 version were a lot worse than the PlayStation models for the PlayStation 4 version. Does that make sense?
Okay.
They made different models for the actual game. Anyway, they had different models for the actual game than they did for the cutscenes. And then when they remastered the game, they used those better models for the actual game.
Gotcha.
So the in-game cutscenes that were in like 1080p and whatever frames, 30 frames per second, they used those models for the actual PlayStation 4 game. So they didn't really update anything for the remastered version. They just used those better models. They probably updated the lighting and other stuff, but like it was already stuff that they had planned ahead of time. And
but I was watching like
the same thing happened for God of War.
Right. I don't know. Just but like doing a full from the ground up remake for this game.
But was it? Or did they just use the The Last of Us 2 models and assets?
That's what they said. That's what they said in their announcement trailer today. They said from the ground remake. From the ground up remake. That's the exact wording they used. And that feels like a waste of time. And like honestly, the game already, like the PS4 version, looked good. It still looks really good. It just feels so unnecessary to me. I don't know. Like the thing is, I with a lot of remakes, you can put them side by side and you're like, oh yeah, no, that looks better, right? But like I'm seeing these side by side and like sometimes I'm like, does that actually look better? I can't tell. and some of the things in the trailer, you look at the side by side, it looks better, but not everything. Not every shot actually looks better, in my opinion.
Daniel,
I can't tell if it looks better. And not that it definitely looks different, but better. I don't know.
Daniel,
Jesse.
This is completely unrelated.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say that, like,
The suspense.
I'm actually I'm actually trying to think of a way to say this because it is running off my hotspot. So like,
oh, okay. I'm sitting here waiting. We're waiting for you, Jesse.
I understand that. Okay. Let's say Nintendo made a Twilight Princess 2 for the Switch 2. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Which looked like the Zelda Wii U demo they had, which was what they said. If they remade Twilight Princess 2 for the Wii U, that's what it would look like.
Already like what I have to say about this.
Yeah, like if they would ever re-release Twilight Princess for the Wii U, the Zelda Wii U Tech Demo is what they said it would look like. So let's say that a situation like that did happen.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, well, we remade or remastered the whatever to look like the Zelda Wii U Tech Demo. And then they made a Twilight Princess 2 that used all of those assets. So it did look like it did on the Zelda Wii Tech Demo. Like, let's say that's Twilight Princess 2. And then they released the...
But that's like a drastic difference.
Yes.
Between, like, that's the thing.
Does not
that's
matter.
what I'm saying. Like, this doesn't feel like a drastic difference.
It doesn't feel like it. But let's say they did that. And then they were like, this is like... So Twilight Princess is Twilight Princess on the Wii. And then Twilight Princess 2 is the Zelda Wii Tech Demo. But they actually released a full game like the Zelda Wii Tech Demo. And they were like, this is Twilight Princess 2. And then they were like, oh, well, we're re-releasing Twilight Princess, but it looks basically all the same stuff they used for the Zelda Wii U Tech Demo. So, like, they have the Twilight Princess 2, they have the Twilight Princess, whatever. But
that's not the same comparison because that looks very different from Twilight Princess.
Yes.
This does not look very different from The Last of Us.
That's because you're going from, like, 720p and 30 frames per second to, like, 1080p and 60 frames. Like, it's...
But also, you're not going to like this.
Do you remember the Twilight Princess...
I know
demo?
the Wii U Tech Demo you're talking about.
No.
I know the one.
The Wii. No, was it the Wii?
What? The Wii U Tech Demo.
No. Because
now I'm lost.
The Wii was originally supposed to be like almost HD.
Almost. But
it was
it's
like
not.
546.
It's like
yeah, like instead of 720p or 40p, it was like 540. Like it was in the middle, 546p.
Right. Okay.
Like, do you remember the original cutscenes where like Link is twirling his sword and like putting it in his sheath behind him, and then like there's I don't know, like Goma or some random thing chasing him down a tunnel and stuff, and like all those look a lot better than the game actually looks when they released it. And then like 10 years later, there was developers that were like, yeah, the Wii was originally a lot more powerful than they released it as. And we had
what's the point? Where are we going with this, Jesse?
Where are we
going with this?
You sound like my brother when I'm talking to him about family matters. And he's like, well, what's the point? Where are you going with this? And I'm like, it's all the same. That is the true story.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Here's the thing.
You might as well be like a half brother.
Oh. Wii U Tech Demo, though,
I know
I
there was a drastic
I
difference.
I don't care much for how it looks, to be honest. You're gonna hate me for this.
I don't hate you.
I don't think it looks that great.
I don't hate you at all. Just bye.
Specifically, the environment. He really said bye. Oh no. I think the environments look pretty good, but like I don't like Link looks
what
like
environment? There was just there was one room.
One room. It looks good. Sure.
There was a few more bats than Majora's Mask had.
The lighting looks off, and I just don't think Link looks that great in it. I think that the lighting looks really weird on Link.
Geeks
it looks like they
down
artificially shaded it.
We were wrong about.
Like, okay,
Oh.
you know, Smash Brawl on the Wii, how they like faked the lighting by having like. And actually, a lot of Wii games do this. No, let me finish. They fake lighting effects by having it like literally part of the texture. So like the like seams of things that were supposed to look dark, they're dark because like literally the texture. No, it's just a developer just saves on resources. You make the edges of things darker. Like, anyways, that's how Link looks to me. It's like his hairline, the shadowing like around his hairline and his face. Like it just looks like off. To me.
So
like,
you're saying there's a weird thing like Nintendo would create a Sheikah Twilight Princess model and then just dump it in Twilight Princess or not Twilight Princess, but Melee for some reason, or was it Brawl? I don't even remember at this
Brawl.
point.
That's also Brawl.
No, I don't know how you would know that. That doesn't make sense.
But my point is the environment stuff, even Goma in that Wii U Tech Demo looks pretty good. But I think Link looks horrible. I do not like how Link looks in that.
In Brawl?
And people are like, it's just Twilight Princess look. No, in the Wii U Tech Demo for Zelda, the Zelda Wii U Tech Demo, Link looks like he looks bad. He doesn't look good.
It's almost,
it does not.
It's almost like I'll say like 85% of the people that are like, oh, this is Ocarina of Time in Unreal Engine 3 or 4 or Unreal Engine 5, and it's like that's literally. You just copy and pasted. This isn't coming from Daniel or Geek or Tubes or anyone else who's ever been on this channel. This is coming from Jesse. %85 of the people that you see doing the Unreal Engine Legend of Zelda stuff, they do amazing work with like Hyrule Castle Town. That was me going, not Daniel. They're just copying and pasting the same character models from Hyrule Warriors into the engine. You can do this in like 1 hour. If you already have everything
it's also worth.
Huh?
It's also worth mentioning that
I'm doing
like
a voiceover for Daniel right now.
Oh, great. So I saw one that was like an Unreal Engine 5 remake of like Kakariko Village, and it looked incredible, right? Like Ocarina of Time Kakariko, but it's like super like upscale. It's like super 5K, whatever. Like it's ridiculous. Looks great.
But
the thing is, this is a fan project.
Face to do the nod.
The thing is that no console could run that because like the guy himself, he had to like buy just to make that and run it in Unreal Engine 5. He had to buy a new PC that was like super ridiculously expensive, and even then it couldn't even render everything properly. So it's like, and then people are like, wow, fans can make these Unreal Engine projects and they look so good. I'm like, real developers probably could too, but no console could freaking run it, or no console that anyone could afford could have run it. Like, that's the thing.
So Daniel,
that is the thing.
Let's say I posted a video.
That's what bugs me about those fan projects.
All right, I did all those voiceovers and animations and head nods that you just seen. That was all me.
Yes, they were lovely. Good job, Jesse.
Thank you.
So impressive.
Geeks just doing your homework.
We got a super chat from Vernon. $5. It's just a laughing face. Thank you, Vernon, for laughing at us. We should move on. We've been bickering about these remakes.
I did want to say I don't. when they showed off the Wii U, I think it was the same situation as the actual Nintendo Wii, where like developers came on later on. There was like, yeah, the first development kits that we received were a lot more powerful launch. So the time we spent working 4 games on the Wii, we ended up having to scale back so they would actually run on the final console, which is what they normally do. I will say that they do normally do that, but it was a lot more drastic than usual. That's why Nintendo at first thought they could have like Uber Zelda running on the Nintendo 64, and they were like, maybe we should only put them in a castle, and then they were like, maybe we should make this open world, and then they were like, maybe we should make an even bigger open world with the sky, and then never put the sky in it, and then everyone will just be like, oh, there was a light dungeon, what was that? But but yeah, with the Wii U, they showed the tech demo, and they were like, this is what Twilight Princess could look like if we released it on the Wii U at 1080p and 30 frames per second. And there's like a million bats running around, and Daniel's looking at his glasses, and he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Jesse. And then they released the actual Twilight Princess HD, and it's like, this is just what we already get on the emulator. Like,
you could do better with Dolphin, even, than what Twilight Princess HD gives.
And people wonder why we don't get free games from Nintendo anymore. They're like, here's ARMS.
Okay.
What do you have to say about it?
And we're like, ARMS exists. All right.
How did your review for
what?
Fire Emblem 2? Or Fire
what?
Emblem Warriors?
Oh, Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah,
yes,
was the one
that one. No, that did good, actually. No, and that was very positive, actually. I don't remember how well the video performed.
Okay.
But I didn't do I promised a follow-up that I never did. And it's been years.
I wonder
it's been
why.
Almost 5 years. Well, yeah, you know why.
Geek,
the game didn't hold my attention.
How's that Pokemon review that I had sent you?
All the plushies and the cards?
Those 2 or 3 boxes you received on like 2 different days.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I had the I still have it somewhere, and all the cards. And I got that Sobble plushie. And then I got a bunch of little things. I don't know.
Hello. I don't know if you all can hear us, but if you can, Daniel is about to go live. But tell me, like, yeah, no, it's going right now. Tell me when you're about to press it, and I'll unpress it. Or depress it. Hello, everyone. This is a Zelda podcast, in case you didn't know, because we were talking about Ninja Turtles and Last of Us. Well, I mean, it is the best recital anyone could ask for, so you did an amazing job.
I played a very evil character. I was an orphan
Are you
mistress.
always evil, though? Isn't that just like a natural
not always. Last year I was an angel. Like, I'm only thrown in there when she needs someone because I'm a teacher, so I'm already doing too much. But she was like, can you be the orphan mistress? It's mostly acting. I was like, that's fine. Although I have this massive wipeout scene where I, like, run towards the king and, like, he basically, like, uses the force to stop me, and I'm supposed to, like, slam into the ground, and that stage was really slippery, so it wasn't hard. But I had a bunch of my younger students come up to me, and they're like, why were you so mean?
Raphael and Michelangelo are asking me, what are your favorite types of pizza?
Uh-huh. Are they also turtles?
They might be. I don't discriminate. Humans, turtles. I don't know what your political views are. If you don't want to vote for turtles, you don't have to. But I'm just asking about pizza.
I like